From the sidelines, we got some goals that we still gotta reach. Yeah.
What up, what up? Welcome to the Sideline Hustle. This is your host, Drew Lieberman, bringing you a Week 7 NFL update, an inside look into the NFL through the lives of my clients, some of the top wide receivers and tight ends in the league, trying to take you guys behind the scenes into the work that goes into making the plays you see on Sunday, some of the factors that my players deal with on and off the field, and just really connecting the dots and giving you guys, an inside look into this whole thing. Last week, week 6, I felt like we were talking about, some bigger narratives. Talking about Evan Engram's adjustment to playing on Thursday Night Football, talking about the emotional factors of Jakobi Meyers going and beating the New England Patriots, his former team. And we were kind of talking in some broad strokes, some broader brush strokes. And I really wanted to focus this week on, what we do best, what I've always prided myself on at the Sideline Hustle, which is the technical route running detail. I think for anyone who's followed us for a long time, before I was, coaching a lot of these league guys, it started on Instagram. It started with our Teach Tapes content, which was 1 minute, 1 minute segments breaking down route running in the most detailed way I knew how to. Like before I was ever coaching any of these NFL guys on the field, it was delivering detailed content that was able to teach football to the world and teach, some of these really fine details that my players take pride in. And making them accessible for everybody, on Instagram and all that. So I really want to get back to that in this show and really get to, just really get to some of these technical breakdowns. So let's start. We got a bunch of guys made some plays this week in week 7. We're going to kind of go through to some of the brief top plays from each guy, some of the lessons learned, and everything we can take from it. We're going to start with Evan Engram, week 7, Thursday Night Football versus the Saints. And really, so the thing with Ev right now is, and we talked about this in the first episode if you guys listen, Evan is the guy who controls the middle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? He controls the underneath, he controls the middle. He's got slashers and scorers all around him. As if he was the big man that needs to control the post, protect the paint, and then get the ball to his shooters, right? You got Christian Kirk, you got Calvin Ridley, you got Zay Jones when he's healthy, you got Travis Etienne. But Evan's got to be the guy that can catch the underneath balls and get more after the catch and move the chains and things like that. So understanding that role, our biggest focus in our training is YAC, is his footwork while catching the ball, his body positioning while catching the ball, and his ability to get upfield seamlessly in every situation. And that shit showed up big time this week against the Saints. We missed out on a couple bigger play opportunities to get Ev's total yardage up, but some of the key plays he had in this game were big for his team. We're going to start first with this first slot out route. This is like second play of the game. Ev ran a really good out route. And just look at the YAC transition, getting his hips turned around in midair. And this is when even Evan told me, he's like, bro, this is when I knew the YAC was next level. Because he's like, as soon as I caught this, my mind went to positioning my body to get more after the catch. And I'm going to show you from the back view in a second. But watch as Evan catches this to the sideline, beat 6 to the sideline. He's jumping up to catch the ball above his head. And as he's catching it, he's turning his body to open himself towards the sideline so he can immediately get that foot in the ground, fight the sideline, and get more upfield. Really great body control, but overall it's just showing the YAC mentality that we're building and how cemented that is in Evan's brain. Look at from this right here, torquing his body in the direction he wants to go so he can get those feet down. He gets the outside leg planted, prevents himself from going out of the bounds. It was a good drop step. This is the tight view you can really see it best from. Watch Ev go up to get the ball, turning his body in midair, knowing I got to get my feet down as urgently as possible to give myself a chance not to run out of bounds here. Does a really, really good job. Fights the sideline, gets going, and gains about 10, 12 more. Just got to tuck the football, my boy. We definitely got to be conscious of the ball security, keeping that ball tucked. But, as we're making plays and things like that, we got to be able to just be an athlete. Just having that awareness of getting the ball tucked as we're pushing vertical. But really great body control, great awareness, and just great YAC mentality to make a good play on the sideline, but some real great awareness and a lot of our work showing up here to get more after the catch. All right, another great YAC situation here, another great YAC execution from Ev. This is 2-minute drill. You got 1:50 left in the first half. 2-minute drill. I think it's early. Maybe they earned 1 first down. This was earlier, trying to keep the chains moving now, early in the drive. And this is really cool. Ev's running an under route versus cover 2, right? Or really, this looks like it's more like cover 4. They play like a 2 read, right? So he kind of tempos he pushes vertical, sees the whole picture, and tempos himself at the top a little bit. He's not in a hurry to push himself inside. He feels Lattimore push off. the corner, and he can feel 20 kind of pushing towards him, knowing that once 20 reroutes the number 2 receiver, he's going to push towards Ev and try and make this play. And Ev just does a great job of tempoing himself at the top, having field awareness, having awareness of the zone triangles in front of him, and not running blindly inside. He tempos himself. Trevor throws it right on his body, and that gives Evan the perfect backdoor opportunity where we're allowing the ball to dictate the path, right? Trevor throws it on us. He doesn't lead us into trouble, and we kind of see the look in front of us. That's telling us take the football backdoor and get back the other way. Really good seamless transition here. Getting back the other day, running away from the nearest help, right? The nearest help in this zone defense is coming from that linebacker. That's the guy that's going to make going to be the first guy you have to make the play on. And if you want to have a YAC plan, you have to understand where the nearest help is coming from in the concept and in that coverage. Great understanding of where the help is coming from. Great job catching the football to escape that help, and then getting out of bounds in the 2-minute drill is key to save the timeout. A lot of really good little details here from Ev. You see it down bottom on the wide all 22 view. Again, he pushes vertical. He pushes Lattimore off. You got the true quarters look right here. The flat defender is playing through number 2 to then push to Evan. So Evan knows he's got to push vertical to expand the corner and kind of just be patient and tempo himself coming inside. He can't be in a hurry to come inside. Patient, ball's thrown on me. I'm looking to go back door. As soon as it's on my body, I can sink my hips, get my back foot open to the sideline as I catch it, and then burst out and beat 20 to the spot and gain 6-7 yards after the catch, and most importantly, get out of bounds and stop the clock. Really great play there from Evan. Again, little YAC details that we really pride ourselves on. And the last one here from Ev that I loved, this is later in the second half. It's just simple, right? But like I told you, you got to understand what Evan's role is. He is the move the chains guy, control the middle guy. We need to throw you the ball to get the drive started, to get us out of a tough situation, to put us in the favorable down and distance, keep us ahead of the chains. It's a very essential job where sometimes, we have to be selfless and see some of the bigger plays be drawn up for the fast slashers we have on the outside, and just take pride in the role of moving the chains. The drive doesn't continue. We don't have the chance to make the big plays if we're not doing the little things necessary to keep everything going. So this is a great job here. We're just running this little delay OTB route right here against cover 2. You can see the coverage. We're going to show it from the wide view, but Evan kind of is a little bit patient off the ball. That way he can feel the coverage. You see the Tampa 2 Mike linebacker, 56, is dropping back. So he knows I want to replace that Mike linebacker with the route. And as soon as the ball's thrown, if it's thrown to me on time, I want to replace that backer with the drop step as well, right? And I want to replace him with the YAC and get vertical right away. Ev does a great job here. We're not wasting any time. If Ev catches this ball square and then turns around after the catch, he's going to get tackled for 4 yards because they're going to close on him if we're inefficient at the catch point. Instead, Evan is opening his hips as he catches it, all in one motion, something we practice constantly. Every single fucking day, we practice this drop step drill. Opening his hips as he catches it, all in one motion, the same way that if you watch a basketball shooter square up for a shot, he's able to catch the ball, square up to the basket, all in one motion. He's not catching, facing, turning, boom, boom, boom. It's all one fluid motion. So same thing here, the way we're catching and facing the basket, for lack of a better term, catching, drop stepping, pushing ourselves through the middle to maximize the yards we can get on this OTB. It seems simple, but it's 1st and 10, and if we're inefficient at the catch point, these 2 outside linebackers are going to tackle us for a 5-yard gain. Instead, we are very efficient at the catch point. We push forward, we gain 7-8. Right now it's 2nd and 2. Now it's 2nd and 3. Every single play is on the call sheet. You can pretty much call it risk-free, and it just gives you so much relief as an offensive coordinator. And it's a very important role and something Evan and I take a lot of pride in. We take a lot of pride in his YAC, the efficiency we have at the catch point, and just our ability to be an extremely reliable safety blanket for Trevor and allow and be the centerpiece that can allow the defense to collapse on me, dish it out to the shooters out on the perimeter, and allow them to make plays. Really, really great stuff here from Ev. Again, you kind of see the field spacing, see him replacing the Tampa 2 Mike backer, drop stepping right to that void, and able to maximize all the space he has in front of him on this catch, on this drop step, turning a 4-yard catch into an 8-9-yard gain. Little things that don't go unnoticed, and eventually, right, anyone who watches Evan play, he knows that a good amount of these fluid drop steps are broken for 10, 20, 30 yards, and that's how a lot of Evan's big plays are made. So we have to take just as much pride in the 9-yard gain, the 8-yard gain, as we do when we slip a tackle and now it's going for 20, because it's all the same movement, right? It's the same intent, the same focus. It is the same, really the same intent, the same way of thinking about it each time. The result doesn't make it any better or worse, right? This 8-yard drop step is just as valuable as one that goes for 30. As long as we execute it on time, execute it the same way, those plays will kind of reveal themselves. We got to stay consistent. So great job by Ev. Proud of them. They're playing great football right now. Winning a bunch of games, the Jaguars. Evan's a big part of it, and they got to keep it rolling this week against the Steelers. All right, moving on. We got Jakobi Meyers. All right, Kobe, my boy Kobe had a bit of a rough game. He ended up with 7 for 50 and a touchdown versus the Bears. They lost. This is kind of his touchdown at the end of the game, and just look at his body language. You know what I'm saying? Head down a little bit. He was a little disappointed. I give 33 Jalen Johnson for the Bears credit. Jalen played a great game and outplayed us in this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, made more plays than we did, was a little more physical than we were. Kobe still made some good plays versus him and all the Bears corners and did some things. You know what I'm saying? But overall, just like Kobe and I hold him to a very, very, very high standard, and we just didn't quite meet that in this game. And I got to give respect to Jalen Johnson because that kid has made himself a lot better and is one of the better corners in the league. And he played great, and it's going to be a great challenge for us to rise our level to be able to be better the next time we have a situation like this. But there was Kobe's touchdown. What I really want to talk about with Kobe is this full extension catch right here. All right, he ends up running a route that 33 jumps it a little bit early. Right, we could run the route a little better, hold our body language a little bit better. There's little things we could talk about there, right? But really what I want to talk about is the way Kobe is catching the football. Full extension away from his body, and he's able to beat a corner who's closing on him fast and fearlessly. He's able to beat that corner to the ball with full extension. And if he had any less extension here, it's not going to be a catch. And it ends up being, just only like a 7-yard gain. But when you don't have a game that you're so proud of, that you're thrilled with, the way he was thrilled with his game against the Patriots, you got to look for the little things of signs of improvement. Obviously, there's plenty to hold him accountable for, plenty that needs to be better. But what are the positives? What are the things we can build on? What are the small victories we can celebrate as we flip the script and continue building for the next week? And this full extension catch was really one of them, and I'm going to show you guys why. Really great extension. Great job boxing the corner out with his body, squaring the ball up, right? Like, not letting the ball get into him at all. But really, the key is pushing that back arm through to go square the ball up and go attack the ball. And watch him hold it in full extension away from 33. Like, really good job. And he had another one here that I want to talk about. There's another great hands catch on third down here. You see Kobe coming inside here. A better view here. They got the robber safety coming down. They end up rolling to 3 here on third down to take this exact play away. Kobe does a good job pushing his depth to expand and get past the sticks. And then he knows he's got that safety screaming down. I don't think the quarterback sees him. And Kobe got to beat that safety to the ball again, coming friendly to the ball, breaking in front of the safety and catching that thing full extension with his hands for a big third down conversion. So, like, some really good, like, both, we gained a total of, maybe 12 yards these two plays, but really good signs of Kobe's improvement, right? Look at him from the summer. You can kind of listen to us talking a little bit. Good break. And you can hear me say, you can hear me say, I'm just going to say, keep reaching out. Watch Kobe with his hands. He feels himself catch it close to his body, and he's telling himself, push out, push out. Push that ball out, right? It's a big thing. It's a big thing that we focused on. You can see this is later in the workout where I'll try and purposely throw the ball out there a little bit more to force him to get used to that full extension, right? Force him to go out there with both arms, extend. That's what extension looks like. Just because we have to go with this extension because it's in front of us, we shouldn't catch it any different when it's not this far outstretched. We just take that extension, instead of being all the way in front, we push it to get in front of our body. Right, instead of it being all the way to the side to reach an outstretched ball, same extension, we just rotate our body to catch it in front. We want to catch it away from our body with full extension, the way he did on the out route versus Jalen Johnson versus the Bears. Here's an early summer rep from us, just kind of working on this full extension. And watch Kobe's progression. He's running right at the ball, right? I love throwing full speed balls right at them, coming straight head onto it because it's the hardest angle, right? That out route, the ball's coming away from you. That's an easier angle to go attack. The hardest angle to attack is this one getting thrown full speed right at you, right? So you see the first one, full extension, not bad. Pretty good job stopping the football, catching it out in front. You know what I'm saying? Could be a little bit firmer at the catch point, but he's extending his arms there. You can kind of hear some of the commentary. See his next one, kind of, I tell him more right after. Watch the way it hits his hands. Immediate retraction. That ball's going back. It's not stopping. He's not leaving it out in front. It's immediately retracting. Slowing down, not confident, not running through it, right? And then just kind of watch us build through this and watch him get more and more confident. Now he's maintaining his speed, could still stop the ball a little bit better. I try and change the angle up. So rather than overthink the catch, I'll add another element to the drill. Rather than just overthinking the catch. All right, now catch the ball and do something with it, and naturally you'll start to catch the ball more naturally because you're not overthinking it. So we started to add a little bit of an angle here, right? Have him catch the ball and run to the angle, and he's catching the ball a little more naturally, stopping the football. Kobe's a rhythmic player. The thing you got to realize about Kobe, he basically taught himself how to play receiver, right? Kobe was a quarterback at NC State, switched over, I think, sophomore year, and has basically taught himself the position, taught himself his own way of playing. So coaching him, and he played quarterback, which also breeds catching the ball close to your body. You feel the snap, everything's close to your body, and he was a baseball player as well, where it's catch, bring it close so I can transition to a throw. So we're breaking that habit where at no point is it beneficial for a quarterback to catch the ball at full extension. Like never. You're always going to catch it close, or for a shortstop, right? You're going to catch it close, bring it close to your chest so I can throw. Very different now when we've got 33 bearing down on us and we got to catch that shit with full extension. So it's just something that naturally Kobe, who basically taught himself the position, hasn't been enforced on enough in his career, and something we're really trying to break. So you can see now we start catching at these different angles, just making him continue to extend, continue to do what he does, but the focus is continuing to push through his extension through the football. That's a pretty good rep right there. It gets better and better. This was early in the offseason, but just was a big, big focus for us all season, and it's really cool to see it showing up. This was a later rep in Vegas right before the season started, right? We're back right before this was right before training camp, I think. He's running right through me, right through the football. Look at that full extension away from his body, eyes locked on it. Right, everything looks super sharp there. And actually, I noticed this one when I was just kind of looking for some cut-ups. Watch him catch and spin off this, right? Full extension immediately to the YAC transition. Kind of showed up here on the touchdown, which Kobe does practice a lot. But the immediate step to the ball, catch, and immediately to the spin to break this tackle. So just it's cool seeing the YAC stuff show up. And one of the biggest, when I met Kobe was going for 750 yards a year, 800 yards a year for the Patriots. And the biggest thing I noticed on his film was the YAC doesn't show up enough. And when I start a relationship with a client like Kobe, who's already very established before me and has, a rhythm to his game before me, I don't need to break the whole thing down to build him back up. Like, we need to be better tomorrow, right? We don't have time to go down here to build back up. Like, we got to elevate now. And I'm proud to say I feel like we've been able to do that, the work with Kobe. But a big thing, I didn't want to redesign his whole game. I wanted to figure out what are the immediate things we can add to your game to make you better now. You keep doing what you're doing, and then let's add these 3 or 4 things. The top thing of that list for sure was catching the ball full extension and YAC. And before we can even get to our YAC, right, and get to yards after catch, we have to master catching the ball away from our body, plucking it confidently. So again, just really, really cool going back to this rep just to see Kobe hit this and a small 7-yard catch, one that could, again, not even our best route, could be a better route, but some real signs of his growth watching him go attack that ball full extension. All right, continuing with the YAC theme, Darius Slayton only had a few targets in the win versus Washington, blocked his ass off all game, ran some good complimentary routes, but just, I can't wait for him to get more opportunities like this. Like, Slay has had success and has been deemed as a deep ball guy, right? He gets the go balls over the top. We've seen Tyrod Taylor hit him twice against Buffalo. We've seen Daniel Jones throw him plenty in his career, and that's kind of how Slay has been, kind of, I don't want to say put in a box, since he does plenty of other things, but I think everyone kind of looks at him as a vertical threat, right? That's what his body of work and his skill set kind of makes him seem that that's his biggest strength. I think Slay's biggest strength is getting the ball on the move in the open field. Well, we showed you last week that clip against Miami. He ran the slant route, hit the full speed spin move off of it. And here's just another one where, he's just dangerous when you can get him the ball running full speed. And it's something we work on a lot. Like, this ends up, he's got a lot of defenders he's got to beat here. We end up gaining maybe 10, 12 yards after the catch. But again, it's little things, right? Similar to what I said about Evan's drop step. It's not about the how many yards we gain. It's about, are you executing the YAC transitions perfectly so that when there is a more favorable look when you catch this ball, in that look, we can trust that you're going to do the right things and you're going to take advantage of the 30, 40 yards in front of you, right? So we watched this one from Slay, same thing. He's running this over, does a great job clearing the linebacker, perfect ball from Tyrod, right? Clearing that linebacker right away. Slay goes and has to grab it just on his back shoulder a little bit, and he immediately gets his eyes downfield and becomes a full speed runner. There's no hesitation. One motion, catching the football, feet in the ground, full speed runner without hesitation. It's fucking fearless. Across the middle, in the middle of 3 guys closing on you, right? So yeah, we don't have the look to make this a 60-yard touchdown. But you know what? When we do have the look to make it a 60-yard touchdown, I'm pretty damn confident Slay gonna be fucking ready. That's what this rep shows me. And that's what I'm saying when, like, it's not always evident to the naked eye. You got to know what you're looking for. You got to understand how are big plays made in the NFL. What are the little details of the receiver position that allow big plays to be unlocked? And if our players are doing that, we're having great success. We can't control when the ball is thrown to us. We can't control how the ball is thrown to us. There's so much out of our control as a wideout. So we have to have exact details. We have to be able to have a sound value system that keeps us in check and can let us know when we're playing at a high level or not. And it can't be based on targets, stats, production. Because I think Slay ran some great routes this week. He had 1 catch for 22 yards and 2 targets. Some of that on him to get more open. Is it the choice of the play calling, the flow of the game? Again, there's a million factors. We can't get into it every week of was it this, was it that? It's in the opportunities given to me, how did I handle them? We were 1 for 2, and we're not going to break down the second one today. If we were, there's plenty we could have done better on that. You know what I'm saying? And but it's looking for these little clues, and then for me as a coach, it's emphasizing the fuck out of this to him, talking about how great this is and how important this is, so that he feels great about the progress he's making. Because 1 catch for 22 yards doesn't necessarily lead you to feeling great about it when, Slay's expectations go to for 100 yards every game. He's done it many times in his career. And when he gets the opportunities and gets the targets, he's shown that with the volume of targets, he can do that just about every time he receives that sort of volume. So like we have higher expectations than just, making our play when our numbers called. We want to dominate football games, but to work towards that, and a team that's a work in progress and going through a lot of transition, we got to be damn consistent when the ball does come to us, and we got to show that these little things are improving and pushing to the next level, so that when there's opportunities for bigger plays, we'll make them, and that's how we'll kind of, get our yardage up and all that. So just really great job from Slay, running a fearless route across the middle, getting his eyes to the quarterback, and taking a slightly back shoulder ball to get his hips forward and immediately rip the ball forward and become a full speed runner. Love to see it. Love to see full speed catches across the middle. And if you've been following me for a while, this is something we train probably more than anything. Catching the ball at full speed. You would be surprised when I started training NFL receivers how many guys can't run full speed through the football. They run full speed, they slow down, then they get back to full speed. Fuck that. We are running full speed, a full speed route through the ball at full speed without slowing down. We train it all the time. It's been a big reason for helping to improve some of Slay's catching woes and things like that. Here's a rep from the summer. He's a little bit far away, but you can see it just running full speed, not slowing down through the ball at all. No loss of speed through the ball. Another one later on in the summer, full sprint cycle off the ball. We're looking for that sprint cycle to stay the same through the ball. Pretty good job right there. Sprint cycle stays the same through the ball. Taking that to routes on air. Just running some slant routes here. Again, full sprint cycle through the ball. Right to full speed run. This is a really good one right here. Hands catch out in front. Kind of similar, he had one that was behind him on the play we just watched, the game clip, but similar transition of he catches the ball in front, right to a full speed runner as he's getting the ball tucked. No loss of speed. We're bursting through this. Catching this thing out front, full extension, not losing any speed. Boom, right to a full speed runner. Right, so really cool to see this. And this is probably the hardest drill we did over the summer. Was I did this 1-step slant drill. I'm only, like, you can see me, right behind there, maybe 8 yards away. And I'm throwing the ball as hard as I can. And for context, I played college quarterback, so I can throw the ball a little bit. I'm throwing the ball as hard as I can from about 7-8 yards away and making him run through it. So you can kind of hear some of it. Pretty good job right there. Low ball, staying running. This one, you watch his head snap back a little bit. We don't want our body to flinch. Sent him back. And now just look at the challenge. Look at how challenging this is. Ripping that shit. But this builds the fearlessness. Like, you know what? Like, this is an overly hard drill. Maybe even an unnecessarily hard drill. It was a day where I just wanted to challenge. I wanted to prove a point that, hey, this is when Slay was becoming a really good full-speed catch guy. He was catching everything with his hands. And I wanted to prove a point of, like, there's a next level to this. Okay? You feel comfortable. You feel like everything's going well. Blah, blah, blah. There's a next level to this. All right? Now handle this one. And it's just continuing to push the levels. But this was the hardest drill we did by far. And again, it's just great to see all of this work show up in the games and watch him with. This is really, other than some of the Miami plays, this is Slay's first opportunity of the year, 7 weeks into the season. Really his first full speed catch and run opportunity of the year. And we're capitalizing on it. And that's my point. Give us 4 of these, it's going to look like this, and we're going to break and we're going to have 100 yards. But we're 1 for 1. And that's what matters. We got the ball, and guess what? All that summer work, everything we did, it's showing up. You weren't scared over the middle. You didn't have any hesitation. There was no loss of speed. You caught the ball fearlessly. You ripped it into your chest, and you ran to get as many yards as you could after catch without slowing down. Like that, that is a sign that we are ready to fucking make big plays when the ball's thrown to us, and we're ready to be a consistent playmaker for this team with however much target share, we're able to earn. But really great job from Slay. Continue pushing, continue leading these guys. He's the vet in the room that is trying to find playmakers around, now Tyrod Taylor, soon to be, Daniel Jones. You would think whenever he's coming back, like, who knows what's going on with that shit, but it doesn't really matter is the point. Like, we can't control any of that shit. That's my point with wideout. You can't even control who's throwing you the football. Slay was drafted with DJ. He's DJ's guy. That's who he has the most chemistry with. Now he's got to do it with Tyrod Taylor. We don't have control over this. All we have control over is our mindset, our approach to the craft every day, the effort, the energy, our attitude, keeping our fundamentals sharp. And then, we got to work with our teammates, work with our coaches, work with our quarterbacks to get everything else around us in a place that allows our talent to shine. It's shining here on one catch versus the Commanders. It's going to show up more soon. All right, moving on. Next, big time play at the end of the game from our boy Allan Robinson. 3rd and 8. First down. If they earn a first down here, the Rams have, this is the 4-minute drill. The Rams have no timeouts. A first down here seals the game, and you can kneel it out. So, some good and some bad here. It was cool to see A-Rob make a big play at the end of the game that put his team in position to win the game, and they did on the next play. Would love to see A-Rob be able to finish this play a little bit stronger and just win the game himself. But all in all, in clutch time, a good slant route here. Okay, you got the kind of too high triangle. You got the safety looking to rob the slant. And you got 44 playing inch-back press coverage. And a great job from A-Rob not rushing this slant route. Right? If you watch this, watch when he breaks inside, that's when the safety comes. And if A-Rob and if you watch A-Rob's route, he does a great job continuing to push his depth. He doesn't just run at 44 once. When he feels 44 continue to retreat, he continues chasing him, continues eating up space and gaining ground. And then that allows him, that just expands the zone triangles. He pushes 44 back. He leaves the safety high. The safety can't jump on until the last second. And that gives him a chance to now catch this thing at the sticks and push for the first down. And when you really watch it and you pause it right here, you see where the sticks are up top. You see where A-Rob catches it. He probably realistically gets the first down right there. Like, he's probably right at the marker. And it's probably a first down in my estimation. But they mark him short. And at the end of the day, it's our fucking job to make it undeniable. Right? Like that's not good enough. For it to even come to a measurement isn't good enough. We gotta fucking make it undeniable. So great route, great awareness of continuing to push your depth and having poise in a big moment, especially this one where A-Rob has had no targets at this point. It was a game where they were just throwing the ball to the outside. Their big completions were go balls and slant routes on the outside. They didn't really throw the ball much over the middle. So A-Rob's had a quiet game to this point. It's his former team in the Rams. You know that means a little bit more, right? So a lot of mental shit going into a game-sealing play that you're trying to make that we have to, as wideouts, like that is part of our job. Once you realize that keeping yourself mentally straight is as big a part of your job as catching the football, your life will change as a wideout, right? So like physically, A-Rob's made this play many, many times before. Mentally, I don't know that A-Rob's been in this position many times in his career. This is a guy who's gone for 12, 1,400 yards multiple times. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls. He's made, close to $100 million in career earnings. There's not many times where he's gone targetless going into the most crucial drive of the game and now is asked to steal the game on a big play. So that's like a lot of different mental shit we're working through. And shout out to A-Rob for running a poised route and, again, putting himself in position to win the game. Now we got to be better at the catch point, right? Great route, good separation. Catching the ball now over the middle, a yard short of the sticks. And what I don't like is him leaving the ground at the catch. Ball thrown at his chest. It's not high. There's no reason for us to jump. What I would love to see here is catching this ball grounded with 2 feet in the ground. And if we do that, we have a chance to have some more weight behind us at the catch, right? We have some power behind us. We can sink low at the catch point, lower our shoulder, and fall forward for another yard. And again, make it undeniable where we fall in front of the sticks. You fall in front of the sticks, the game's over. So overall, some good, some bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just explaining the reality of all the factors here. Bottom line is we need to be better. But also, it's him and I working out like, let's acknowledge all the factors at play and the ones you're handling well, the ones you're not that need to be better. Right? Our catching in this moment needs to be better. But your ability to stay focused and run a poised route and be ready to make a big play despite, a long stretch of not seeing the football, staying in rhythm with yourself, all those things are very positive. Trusting the game plan, attacking 44 the way that we planned all week. There's a lot to be positive with, But then it's also like, this is Allan Robinson. Like I said, Allan's been to a Pro Bowl. He's been an elite player. We gotta finish this play, undeniably. But excited to see my dog getting healthy and my dog starting to play at full speed. He looked a little more twitched up this game, which we've been coming back from a foot injury. And he's starting to look like his old self and starting to really, you got Deontay Johnson back. So now, A-Rob's really going to fill that sort of a similar role to what Evan fills for the Jaguars. That underneath, control the middle, move the sticks type guy. And that's the role that they kind of slated him for here for the Steelers. And with Deontay out, he was wearing a couple different hats and playing more in the 12 personnel sets and things like that. Like, they are an 11 personnel team with A-Rob as their slot. Like, that is where their personnel is best suited for. That's how they want to win football games. And it's cool to be able to see him, fit that role. And I think we're going to see him really make some big plays for the Steelers like this. But when it's not going to come in volume, we got to take pride in making the big plays that help us win games. And again, need to finish it, but it gets us to 4th and 1. We convert on the next play. Game over. It's a cool moment for A-Rob. Glad he was able to contribute and make a play for his team. Just like I said, see if we can get a view of it here. That's a good one right here. Airborne at the catch. So now when I want to stick my foot in the ground, that's a good view. Maybe he didn't get the first down now that I see this. Good side view. But it's close. At the end of the day, right? Like, we just got to make it more undeniable. And if we're not airborne, if we have our feet planted here, we can absorb this hit, have some weight and our leg strength behind us at the catch. We're able to fall forward past the sticks. Game over, and we feel a little bit better about this. But all in all, I'm very proud of the way A-Rob's playing. I'm proud of the way he's working and the way that he's just filling this role for his team. And a team that's 4-2 and's got a chance to go to the playoffs. And at the end of the day, that's all anyone. We're just trying to fucking have fun, playing great football, doing the best we can, making plays when the ball's thrown to us, and we want to be playing meaningful football in fucking December and January. So he's got a chance to do that, and I'm proud of him. He's been a great leader, and great things are going to happen for him and that team as they continue to kind of get comfortable with everything. And it's about that time now, coming up on halfway through the season, just about after this week. All right, last but not least, shout out to my young bull Dontavian Wicks, man, for the Green Bay Packers. I trained Tay for the draft this year, prepared him for the draft. It was a 5th-round pick out of Virginia. We went to the Senior Bowl, won MVP for wideouts at the Senior Bowl, which was great. He put on a fucking clinic at the Senior Bowl, went crazy. I knew Tay, just as soon as I met Tay, man, he just got it. Whatever it is, the intangibles, but also just the physical traits of an NFL wideout. Like, he's got it. It's just going to take him some time to kind of, just really settle into his own, and it's going to take some time, I think, for the Packers have some guys that are a bit more highly drafted than him that are all young, that like the way it generally works in the NFL is like those guys are going to get the first crack. And I think Tay at the end of the day is going to be the last one standing, but a little bit of like a waiting game. He's got limited opportunities now. So similar to A-Rob, similar to even Slay in that past game. If you have limited opportunities, what the fuck are you going to do when the ball's thrown to you? That's what ultimately determines earning those next opportunities, right? And something I'm proud of with Tay, this motherfucker has done something every time they've thrown him the ball. And that is something I'm really proud of for him. And he just got to continue to do that, and great things will happen. Great things will happen. He's a young kid and really good things. So here he is right here. A lot of good things to talk about here. We're watching the all 22 down here. He is number 1 on the bottom, right? The number 1 receiver down bottom. I'll circle with the mouse right quick. All right. He's running looks like a little dig route here. Basic. It seems like it's a high-low concept, right? They got the clear out route from the tight end, kind of running that slot post, that through route. And Tay is navigating this cube coverage, right? Look at the cube forming by the defense, right? You got 4 guys over 3. The zone defense always wants to outnumber the amount of receivers. So the defense pushes 4 guys over 3. The guy pushing to Tay is the flat defender. So Tay does a great job kind of pushing up at that guy's outside shoulder, knowing he has to come grab him and defend him to the flat. You give time for the flat defender to kind of overplay you. And now Tay can stick that left foot in the ground. He earns a free release. If Tay gets grabbed up here at all, it's going to fuck up the timing. He's not going to be able to get open. So earning that free release is huge. And then not being too antsy, right? He pushes his depth past the release to continue to expand the triangle to end up at the perfect depth for this basic. He doesn't cut it short. He doesn't get antsy as he's navigating these zone triangles, navigating through the reroutes. Something a lot of young players do. A lot of young players, they have to beat one guy, and then their clock speeds up, and they start getting antsy, and now they rush the route, and they're running sloppy routes. Shows a lot of maturity here from Tay to be able to beat this reroute, have a good slot release here off the flat defender, and then push vertical, win with the pressure step inside. But then what I love most about this is him coming back to the football, coming friendly, right? A lot of guys, you hit this break, and you're spinning your head around, and as you spin your head around, you start to drift. And now if he starts drifting at this catch, he's going to get laid out or it's going to be a pick. Like this backside backer coming at him is going to make a fucking play. And he does a great job stepping back to the football. Body control at the top of this route to not drift. He sees the ball thrown, and he has an aggressive mentality. Coming back to the football, and look at him out-angle that. Look at the pursuit angle of the linebacker, and Tay steps right in front of him, and he's able to make this play in front of the linebacker. He hops, which is probably pretty unnecessary for the catch. He's just kind of, I think, a little antsy that, he just catches the ball over the middle, about to absorb a hit. I'd love for him to not hop. Keep your feet grounded, and you have an even more powerful play you can make here, right? But he hops, but he gets those feet in the ground right away. That's what allows you to break the tackle, right? That's what we didn't necessarily see from A-Rob, is getting those feet in the ground right away. He does hop, but gets those feet in the ground right away. Now I can break an arm tackle with my leg strength, all those squats I do, and push forward for more. Dive forward, protect your body when you got 4 fucking orange jerseys around you, especially when one of them is 22. Protect your body. Don't take an unnecessary hit and fall down. But again, really great play. 1 catch for Tay. He also threw a ball, completed his first pass in his NFL career on a trick play, which was cool to see. But, again, like, it's fun coaching the Evan Ingrams and the Jakobi Meyers and the Darius Slaytons when he's getting a bunch of targets and the Allan Robinsons when he gets a bunch of targets, right? These guys who, at times in their career, at any given day now, they can be the main guy. But to get there, right, and that comes in waves sometimes. You have to be able to withstand some of these dry spells, some of these spells where you're not the guy. How do you respond when the ball is thrown to you? And are you mentally prepared and focused enough to stay locked in, withstand a spell where you're not getting the ball? Tay's, in this situation, probably coming cold off the bench, hasn't been in the game for a little bit. It has to come in, and it's like what we call that 6-man mentality off the bench, right? You remember Manu Ginobili. You remember, some of like the best 6-man you've ever guys who have made a difference in the NBA. What is that mindset? I talk about Robert Horry all the time. It wasn't necessarily a 6th man, but he was known for coming cold off the bench and hitting game-tying threes in the crucial seconds. What is that mindset? What is that mentality that allows you to stay locked in and stay engaged in the game and trust yourself enough to go execute your job and trust your body and trust your skills with no warm-ups, no rhythm, come out there and execute, the way that you're trained to do and paid to do. It's a pretty special trait for a professional to have. And in a lot of ways, it's a harder trait to embody than being the guy that just gets 10, 12 targets a game and you're in that rhythm. Like, every one of these guys at a certain point has been the main guy on their team. That's how they got here. They were all the best players in college, the best players in high school. They know how to be the main guy and catch the ball 15 times and make plays and trust their God-given ability. Everyone's done that in the league. Surviving in this league is playing the other side. How do you play the role? How do you take on a lesser role to then build yourself back up into the role that you once had, that you want again? Mastering that lesser role and humbly accepting and being excited about whatever is put on your plate and doing that to the best of your ability, that's how you get there. And when I think about the work I do with my guys, that's what I really feel most proud of, right? Like watching Kobe score 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, I'm proud of that. Watching Evan, lead tight ends, in catches through almost half the season, I'm proud of that. I'm more proud of these moments that we can celebrate with the guys building themselves to that level, because that is the process. Like, right, I take pride in kind of helping guys redirect their careers and solidify the path of their careers, right, into a positive arc. And fighting through, taking advantage of the opportunities when there aren't many, makes us very prepared for when there is an abundance of opportunities, and we can really take advantage of that. So cool to see these guys show up in some limited opportunities. Cool to see all the YAC work showing up. Proud of these guys, man. I'm proud of the way we're battling. We had a good week in week 7, but one that was a week of adjustments. Had a couple looks in Evan's game that we gotta handle better. Had a couple looks in the Bears game for Kobe that we gotta handle better. Then there's some other just behind the scenes things that guys need to adjust to, different situations on different teams. But overall, very proud. We've had a great third of the season to start. Guys are playing some of their best football ever. The work is showing up. Mentally, guys are great. We just got to finish now. It's not a fucking 6-7 game season. It's an 18-week season with the playoffs. We all want to play 20, 22 weeks. So it's a fucking marathon, and now is the time. Now is the time to strap up. Everything was cute the first third. It was fun. It was new. It was exciting. You're playing opponents for the first time. It's all fucking fun, right? And now here the fuck we go. We're playing guys for the second time around. We're in the dog days of it. You've been sore for 5 weeks. You might have just had your bye week and there's no more bye weeks left. You might not have a bye week for a few weeks. You might be fighting to get to your bye week. Like, whatever it is, guys are struggling right now. And this is where this middle period is what defines guys' body of work. Because it's easy to come out hot and be sharp in the middle. And then it's easy to finish strong when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and football gets exciting again. The games become meaningful. What do you do in this middle third of the season? When your body's sore, You don't know if there's anything to play for. You got teams like Kobe and like the Raiders and the Giants, where can they somehow fight their way back into playoff contention, or is it going in the wrong direction? Where is it all going? And like through all this, it doesn't fucking matter. Like none of that shit matters. Strap the fuck up, show up to work every day, focus on your craft, take pride in your process, find a way to execute that process better every day, and let the results speak for themselves. We can't control all this outside noise, and as a wideout, we have to take pride in that stoic mentality. I said it earlier. When you understand that being a great wideout, the biggest part of being a great wideout is controlling your mental and staying focused, is just as much of a skill as catching the football, running great routes. You can't have one without the other. But yet our training is probably 99% physical and 1% mental, and we wonder why it doesn't always add up, right? Like we gotta, especially at a certain point when like most of my guys have reached a certain level of mastery of the physical. That's how they got here. Where are the next opportunities? It's up here. Having a better perspective, having a better work ethic, having better focus, and pushing yourself to the end result, regardless of circumstance. So that's a wrap. Week 7, Sideline Hustle update. Tune in, check out the boys this week in Week 8. Going to be a big week for us. Going to really try and raise our level, challenging the fuck out of these boys. Currently, by the way, I didn't update y'all on my location. I'm in a fucking hotel room in Jersey. Just quick side note before we get out. Every other week, my kind of travel schedule is I fly to Philly. I see OZ in Philadelphia. My guy Olamide Zaccheaus for the Eagles. Drive up to Jersey, which is my home state, so I enjoy that drive, and get up to North Jersey and see Darius Slayton for the Giants. Next day, wake up and fly to Pittsburgh to see A-Rob, and that's like my kind of every week travel rhythm. So most Tuesdays, you'll see me in Jacksonville, in the home studio in Jacksonville, but you see a little bit different backdrop because your boy's on the road grinding, trying to keep these boys right. So leave any thoughts, comments, concerns below. Let us know what you think. Hope you guys are enjoying the new uptick in content. Excited to be back. It's your boy, Coach Liebs. I'll see y'all next week in Week 8.
Peace. From the sidelines, we got some goals.